What if the tree of life wasn't just a story? The Book of Enoch says Michael, the archangel, guarded it fiercely. But why? Dive into forbidden chapters 23, 25, where Enoch describes heaven's secrets, glowing mountains, a fragrant tree, and flames that never die. Was this knowledge hidden because it's too dangerous? We'll explore heaven's mysteries, the afterlife, and why this book shocks scholars. Stay to see if Michael really stood watch, or if there's more to the story. Imagine a book so powerful, so controversial, that it was hidden away for centuries. This isn't just any old dusty tome. It's the Book of Enoch, packed with secrets that might blow your mind. The Book of Enoch isn't your typical Bible story. It's filled with wild tales of fallen angels, cosmic journeys, and visions of the future that would make even the most imaginative sci-fi writer jealous. No wonder it was deliberately excluded from most biblical canons. Its content was just too out there for some religious scholars to handle. But here's where things get really interesting. This book has some serious value. Even early church fathers like Tertullian thought it was the real deal. He believed the Book of Enoch was divinely inspired, containing prophecies about Christ that were too controversial for Jewish authorities to handle. In fact, the Epistle of Jude in the New Testament straight up quotes from Enoch. It's not just Christians who were into it. Jewish mystical traditions were all over this book too. Gershom Scholem, a respected scholar in Jewish mysticism, pointed out that a lot of the stuff in later Merkabah mysticism can be traced back to Enochic texts. So why is this book such a big deal? It's like finding the missing pieces of a cosmic puzzle. The Book of Enoch fills in gaps that the regular Bible leaves open, diving deep into angelology and eschatology. It's like getting the director's cut of your favorite movie with all the juicy deleted scenes included. Now, let's talk about what's actually in this book, because it's pretty mind-blowing. The Book of Enoch doesn't just describe heaven as some vague, fluffy cloud paradise. It paints a picture of a multi-layered heaven, like a cosmic high-rise with each floor offering something different. It also gives us a sneak peek into the afterlife. Sheol, the realm of the dead, is described as being divided into different compartments. There's a place for the righteous, another for the merely virtuous, and a not-so-pleasant spot for the wicked. It's like a cosmic sorting system. But here's where things get a little dicey. Some people think this book is downright dangerous. Its vivid descriptions of celestial beings and esoteric knowledge have led some groups to use it to support some pretty out-there doctrines. Despite all the controversy, the Book of Enoch has managed to stick around. In fact, it's become a big deal in Ethiopian Christianity. The themes of righteousness, divine judgment, and angelology have become woven into the spiritual fabric of their faith. Whether you see it as inspired scripture or fascinating mythology, there's no denying the impact this hidden book has had on religious thought throughout history. It challenges our understanding of the divine realm and offers a glimpse into a world beyond our own. But before we proceed to the next section, we want to tell you that the Book of Enoch might not be 100% correct, but you should know details about the Old Testament so that you have ancient knowledge as well. If you are ready for that, comment down, "I am ready," and then proceed to watch the video. Just when you thought you had the Bible all figured out, along comes the Book of Enoch to shake things up. But here's the kicker. Not everyone's thrilled about its revelations. In fact, some religious scholars are seriously worried about what this book might do. What's got them so spooked? The Book of Enoch is like a wild card in the deck of religious texts. It's packed with mind-bending visions, complex angelic hierarchies, and descriptions of the afterlife that would make your head spin. But it doesn't always line up with what we find in the Torah or other parts of the Bible. This inconsistency is a big red flag for many religious leaders. They worry it could lead people astray, confusing them about what's really in the Bible and what's not. Imagine trying to solve a mystery with hidden clues scattered throughout an ancient text. That's what it's like for someone without the right background to interpret this book. They might come up with some pretty wild ideas that don't match up with traditional religious teachings. These misunderstandings could shake core beliefs and create a ripple effect in faith communities. The Book of Enoch has some serious value in certain circles. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church considers it part of their official Bible. But for most other Christian churches and Judaism, it's a no-go. This disagreement causes a lot of head-scratching and debates about whether the book is legit or not. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Book of Enoch doesn't just ruffle feathers because it's hard to understand. It's got some content that makes traditional religious folks nervous. Take its descriptions of fallen angels, for instance. The book goes into detail about angels who rebelled against God and even had children with human women. That's some pretty controversial stuff for a religious text. And let's not forget about its wild cosmology. The Book of Enoch paints a picture of heaven that's way more complex than the simple clouds and harps version many of us grew up with. It describes multiple layers of heaven, each with its own unique features. This challenges how we think about the very structure of the divine realm. The Book of Enoch also gives us a sneak peek into the afterlife that's far from the typical pearly gates scenario. It talks about different compartments for different types of souls: the righteous, the so-so, and the downright wicked. It's like a cosmic sorting system that makes some religious leaders uncomfortable. After all, who gets to decide who goes where? Some scholars argue that the Book of Enoch, despite its quirks, offers valuable insights into early Jewish and Christian thought. They say it helps us understand how ideas about angels, the afterlife, and even the nature of evil evolved over time. These defenders see it as a kind of ancient commentary, offering a different perspective on familiar stories and concepts. But here's the real kicker. Some say the power of the Book of Enoch lies precisely in its ability to challenge our established beliefs. It forces us to ask tough questions about what we think we know about heaven, angels, and the nature of good and evil. And let's face it, asking questions is how we grow, right? Hold on to your seats, folks. We're about to take a cosmic journey that'll make your head spin. Remember how we said the Book of Enoch challenges what we think we know? Well, get ready for the ultimate heavenly tour. Enoch's about to show us a side of paradise that'll blow your mind. Enoch reaches the world's end. What do you think he sees? Not clouds or pearly gates. Instead, he spots a perpetual fiery phenomenon. Day and night, this cosmic light show keeps on burning. Why? It's the heartbeat of the universe. Raguel, a wise angel with divine knowledge, appears. He tells Enoch this eternal flame powers all the stars in the sky. Every twinkling star, every burning sun. They all get their energy from this cosmic fireworks display. It's God's way of showing He's in control of the universe, the ultimate cosmic DJ orchestrating the dance of stars and planets. Suddenly, Enoch faces 7 magnificent mountains. These aren't ordinary peaks. They're made of precious stones that would make any jeweler drool. The mountain in the middle steals the show. It looks just like God's throne. Picture a mountain of pure alabaster, topped with dazzling sapphire. 3 mountains stand in the east, decked in colorful stones. Another 3 chill in the south, dressed in fiery red. In the center, the biggest of them all, taller than the rest. This central peak isn't just for show. It's where God Himself will judge the earth. These mountains are like a giant cosmic billboard advertising God's authority. But the surprises don't stop there. Fragrant trees surround this heavenly judge's bench. They smell so good, they'd put your favorite perfume to shame. Among them stands one tree so special, it makes the others look like weeds. This tree is the superstar of the plant world. Its leaves never fade, its flowers never wilt, and its wood, always fresh. But the real kicker is its fruit. Picture the juiciest, most delicious dates you've ever tasted. Now multiply that awesomeness by infinity. Why is this tree such a big deal? The archangel Michael steps in with some earth-shattering news. This isn't just any old tree. It's reserved for the righteous, the cream of the spiritual crop. After Judgment Day, this tree gets a heavenly transplant to the holiest of holy places. There, it'll become the ultimate superfood for God's chosen ones. We're talking eternal life, non-stop joy, and a permanent vacation from earthly troubles. Enoch's heavenly road trip shows us more than just cool sights. It reveals God's power, His plan for judgment, and the rewards waiting for the righteous. The fiery stars, the majestic mountains, and the special tree all point to something bigger. They show us that God's got an amazing future planned for those who follow Him. And that's way better than any vacation could ever promise. Now, you might be wondering why we're making such a big deal about a tree. But this isn't just any old plant we're talking about. This tree is so special, so powerful, that it needs an archangel to guard it. Yes, you heard that right. An archangel. Let's take a step back for a moment. The idea of a magical, life-giving tree isn't new. Many cultures have stories about trees with amazing powers. But the tree of life in the Book of Enoch? It's on a whole other level. Picture this. Enoch is wandering through heaven when he spots something incredible. It's a tree unlike anything he's ever seen before. The smell coming from it is out of this world, better than any perfume you could imagine. Its leaves never fall off, and its flowers are always in bloom. Talk about eternal spring. But here's where it gets really interesting. This tree isn't just pretty to look at. Its fruit looks like dates, but they're not your average snack. These fruits are so special, so powerful, that humans aren't allowed to touch them. At least, not yet. So why is this tree so important that it needs Michael, one of God's most powerful angels, to guard it? Well, it turns out this tree is part of God's big plan for the future. Michael tells Enoch that after Judgment Day, this tree will be given to the righteous and humble. It's like a cosmic reward for being good. But what makes this tree so special? It's not just about living longer. This tree represents God's promise to make things right. It's a symbol of hope, a sign that one day, all the pain and suffering in the world will end. For those who've stayed faithful to God, this tree is their ticket to paradise. Can you imagine what it would be like to eat fruit from this tree? The Book of Enoch says it'll be more than just tasty. It'll bring joy and make all your troubles disappear. It's like the ultimate comfort food, but with heavenly powers. Now, you might be wondering why Michael, of all angels, is guarding this tree. Well, think about it. Michael is known as a protector, a warrior for God. He's one of the most powerful angels out there. If you had something super important to guard, wouldn't you want your best guy on the job? Michael's role goes beyond just being a guardian, though. He's also a guide. He's the one who explains to Enoch what this tree is all about. It's like he's not just protecting the tree, but also protecting the knowledge about it. But here's something to think about. Why does an all-powerful tree need protection in the first place? Is it because the fruit is so tempting? Or is it because the tree represents something so important, so central to God's plan, that it needs to be kept safe until the right time? The Book of Enoch paints a picture of heaven that's full of wonders. But among all the amazing sights, the mountains of precious stones, the eternal flame that powers the stars, this tree stands out. It's not just part of the scenery. It's a promise, a glimpse of what's to come for those who stay faithful to God. You thought the tree of life was incredible? Hold on to your halo, because Enoch's vision is about to get even wilder. What if I told you that heaven has mountains made of jewels and fires that never stop burning? Sounds crazy, right? But in Enoch's vision, that's just the beginning. Let's recap Enoch's journey so far. He's been zipping through the celestial realms, seeing things that would make your jaw drop. But now, he's about to witness something that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about heaven. Imagine a massive eternal flame moving on its own. Day and night, it keeps going without rest. An angel named Raguel reveals its purpose. This fire powers all the stars in the sky. It's not just a pretty light show. It's the energy source of the cosmos. Suddenly, Enoch's eyes fall on 7 magnificent mountains. These aren't ordinary peaks. They're made of precious stones that sparkle beyond imagination. The central mountain, towering above the rest, looks just like God's throne. Its base is pure white alabaster, crowned with a sapphire top that outshines the bluest ocean. These mountains aren't random. 3 stand towards the east, 3 towards the south, and the grand one sits in the middle. 7 in total, a number that appears throughout the Bible, often signifying perfection or completeness. But these mountains serve a greater purpose. The central peak, it's where God Himself will descend to visit Earth. Picture the Creator of everything using this jeweled mountain as His personal home. These incredible sights aren't just heavenly decorations. They're symbols of God's power and His future plans. The eternal fire represents God's never-ending presence and energy. The mountains showcase the unshakable nature of His authority. These visions offer a glimpse into what's coming, a preview of history's grand finale. The central mountain hints at a time when God will come to earth to set everything right. If this sounds familiar, you're onto something. Revelation talks about a woman sitting on 7 mountains. But there's a key difference. In Revelation, those mountains represent corruption. Enoch's mountains, they're pure, holy, and all about God's goodness. So why does this matter for us today? Enoch's vision of heaven isn't just a cool story. It's a message of hope. It shows us there's more to reality than what we see around us. There's a place where everything is more beautiful, more powerful, and more meaningful than anything on earth. These visions reveal something crucial about God. They show He has a plan, a big one, and it involves making everything right in the end. If God can create jeweled mountains and eternal fires, imagine what He can do in your life. These images are like God's way of saying, "Trust me, I've got this, and what I've got planned is beyond your wildest dreams." So when you look up at the stars or see a beautiful mountain, remember Enoch's journey. let it remind you that there's more to this world than meets the eye, and that God's got something incredible in store for those who trust in Him. There's one more thing which Enoch saw about afterlife. Let's explore that as well. Picture this. Enoch's vision of the afterlife isn't your typical pearly gates scenario. It's a mind-bending journey through a cosmic waiting room called Sheol. But here's the kicker. It's not just one big space. Sheol has different sections, like a divine apartment complex. In Enoch's view, the righteous souls are resting in their own peaceful area. They're feeling pretty good about what's coming next. The wicked, not so much. They're stuck in their own gloomy corner, worrying about the judgment that's on its way. But wait, there's more. Enoch doesn't just see one judgment day. He sees two. First, there's this preview state in Sheol. It's like a sneak peek of what's to come. The good souls get a taste of eternal peace, while the not-so-good ones start to worry. Then comes the main event, the final judgment. This is where God steps in and decides everyone's fate. It's like the ultimate cosmic tribunal. The righteous? They're in for the ultimate upgrade, resurrection, and eternal life in a brand new creation. The wicked? Let's just say it's not pretty. Enoch sees them facing eternal punishment, cut off from God's presence forever. Think of it like this. Your life is a grand cosmic game. Every choice, every action, it all adds up. When you get to Sheol, your good karma determines where you end up. Good karma? A beautiful heavenly place. Bad karma? Well, you're not getting the heavenly place. But Enoch's vision isn't just about sorting people into good and bad piles. It's way more nuanced. Your soul's experience in Sheol matches up with how you lived on Earth. It's Enoch's way of showing us that there's a moral order to the universe. Everything you do matters. And get this, Enoch's ideas about the afterlife didn't just stay in his book. They started popping up in other religious texts too. The New Testament? It's got echoes of Enoch's visions all over it. This idea of resurrection, of a final judgment, it all traces back to what Enoch saw. Scholars have been fascinated by this for years. They say Enoch's structured view of Sheol shows how ancient people were trying to make sense of moral accountability. Why do bad things happen to good people and vice versa? Enoch's vision gives an answer. Everything balances out in the end. But here's the really mind-bending part. This vision of the afterlife isn't just about what happens after we die. It's a message for the living. It's like Enoch is saying, hey, pay attention. Your choices now affect your eternal future. It's a call to live righteously, to make choices that align with God's will. So what does all this mean for you? Well, it's a reminder that your actions have consequences, not just here and now, but in the big picture of eternity. It's a call to live with purpose, to make choices that align with what's right and good. Because according to Enoch, when the final curtain falls, we'll all have to account for the roles we played. Speaking of accountability and divine justice, there's another shocking story from the Book of Enoch that shows just how serious these heavenly consequences can be. Remember how we talked about everyone facing judgment for their actions? Well, there's a group of people whose story will leave you speechless. The wives of the fallen angels. These weren't just any ordinary women. Their story is so incredible that it needed Angel Michael's direct intervention. Yes, the same Michael who guards the tree of life. What happened to these wives after the great flood? The answer will completely blow your mind. Want to know what Michael did to the wives of the fallen angels? Just click the video on your screen right now to uncover one of the most shocking revelations from the Book of Enoch. Trust us, you won't believe what happened to these women after the floodwaters went down.